Hi guys, I've been saying for some time that the knives are out for Kemi Badenoch. She's a terrible leader. She barely ever cuts through at PMQs due to her overly scripted performances and her inability to think on her feet. She has an arrogance that stops her admitting mistakes, which causes her to double down when she's wrong instead of try and change course. And her lack of vision means Farage and Reform are presenting themselves as the de facto opposition. The upcoming elections are likely to be pretty bad for the Tories, and this will result in just more pressure on her to go. Now, her natural replacement is the far-right candidate Robert Jenrick, and even Chris Philp here can see that, but he does a pretty poor job of hiding it.
I wanted to ask about all the back and forth around Reform and the Conservatives and what Robert Jenrick was saying. I guess bottom line, as a member of the Shadow Cabinet, is there frustration towards him? Do you think Robert Jenrick is a genuine team player?
I'm sure everything he says is motivated by the best of intentions. We are a team. We're working together on the local elections coming up and on building a programme more widely. Look, we had a really bad election result last July, the worst for 200 years, and we need to work together as a team towards a common purpose, which is to build a policy programme, to build a plan, to communicate our principles and values, to win back the trust of the electorate, and I'm sure Robert is playing his part in a constructive way as part of that mission.
I mean, it was a sort of hesitant response, you said, with a wry smile on your face.
I was choosing my words carefully.
Yeah, no, fair enough, but I'm...
I was choosing my words carefully. I had to prepare my lie. You didn't give me much time to prepare my lie. Now, this once again demonstrates that Kemi Badenoch is extremely weak. She should be sitting down with Robert Jenrick and saying to him, look, this is the way the party is going. We are trying to move back to the centre. Now, maybe not completely, but we're trying to move back to the centre. You're either on board or you're out. That's the way she should approach Robert Jenrick. But unfortunately, she's extremely weak, like pretty much every Conservative back to Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was kicking people out of the party because they didn't agree with him. Kemi Badenoch should be saying to Robert Jenrick, my way or the highway. Because what is this doing? It's creating uncertainty within the party. Here you have Chris Philp trying to suggest, no, Robert Jenrick is a team player. Jenrick is talking about reaching out to Nigel Farage, emulating Reform UK, either merging with Reform UK or emulating their policies. Now, how well did that work out for the Conservatives? How well did it work out when they were trying to copy UKIP, when they were trying to copy the Brexit Party? Now they're trying to copy, in some ways, Reform UK. It doesn't work out because racists and bigots will vote for the pure form of the party, the pure form than the mild form or the light form. They'll vote for Reform if they believe Reform are the party that will kick all the immigrants out. They're not going to vote for the Conservatives for two reasons. First of all, the Conservatives are not going as far as Reform are, but also the baggage of the past. Reform and Farage can sit on the sidelines and say, we will deport everyone. We will eliminate all immigration. They can say these things because they're not in power. The Conservatives should be talking about other things, not immigration. I really don't understand this. Is it because Kemi Badenoch has no control over the party, and she's not able to stop people like Robert Jenrick and other extremists within the Conservative Party to start talking about immigration, talk about reaching out to Farage, trying to be like Farage? Does she have no control? The party is much smaller now. It should be easier to control the Conservative Party than it was in the past. But it means that she's in a position of weakness, and probably following these local elections, and it's not looking very good for the Conservatives, there'll be more pressure on her to go. I don't know whether she will leave straight away, depending on the results, but if it's really bad, it's likely that pressure will mount and she will be replaced. And it will likely be Robert Jenrick, and we know Robert Jenrick wants to do some sort of deal with Nigel Farage, which will only benefit Labour and the Liberal Democrats in England, and maybe the SNP in Scotland. But it would, because moderate Tories, if there are still any left, will say, no, I don't want to vote for Nigel Farage. If I'm voting for Robert Jenrick, I'm getting Nigel Farage. I don't want that. I'd prefer to vote for the Liberal Democrats. So here is a moment for Kemi Badenoch. Impose your will as leader or watch your party completely collapse.